Now, there were reports coming in on Monday morning that a Tesla vehicle on autopilot in Minnesota had an accident. I believe there were four occupants of the vehicle and there were some minor injuries. Now, the reports this morning had Tesla down a little bit in pre-market, and it turns out that the driver of the vehicle sent in an email and has clarified that he believes he may have accidentally turned off the autopilot switch. What does that mean? Does that mean the autopilot switch might be too easy to disengage and you may disengage it unknowingly and find yourself driving your Tesla long off a canyon? Possible. Probably unlikely. I would imagine Tesla would take this as a learning experience. We're going to say, hey, chalk this up to if this guy did this accidentally, and let's say this gentleman here, we don't know him, but let's just say he was a dithering idiot and he had no idea what he was doing with this car, flipping switches and just driving, doing whatever, right? We don't know, but we need to take precautions against all the lowest common denominators that could come along. We can't assume that everybody is going to be thinking things through. And I'm not saying this guy wasn't doing that. This guy might have been doing everything right 100%, and maybe the autopilot switch really did fail. But he's under the belief that maybe he actually did disengage it accidentally. Tesla might want to look into making sure that that switch can't be disengaged on an accidental wrist flick, that maybe there needs to be some sort of confirmation. But again, with that kind of confirmation, how long do we want to be engaged with a dashboard or a touchscreen and not engaged on the road? Especially if we're taking off something as safety precautious as autopilot to go back to manual piloting of the vehicle. I don't know how this story is going to play out, but I know that this is probably a good learning experience for Tesla. I wouldn't let the news concern you. Tesla seems like a company that's going to be fixing any kind of issues that come up long before these issues get way out of hand. But it's a learning experience. It's one of those things that with new technology comes new hiccups, and when your autopilot gets flicked off, sometimes you take the old Nestea plunge off the cliff. Luckily, these guys only suffered minor injuries. Hopefully, this is the last we hear of this.